रात मेरी तुम्ही ने तो जीने के काबिल किया है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है। मुझे है सहारा तेरी बंदगी का, है जिस पर गुजारा मेरी जिंदगी का। मिला मुझको जो कुछ तुम्ही से मिला है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है। किया कुछ न मैंने, शर्मसार हूँ मैं। तेरी रहमतों का तलबगार हूँ मैं। दिया कुछ नहीं बस लिया ही लिया है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है। मिला मुझको जो कुछ बदौलत तुम्हारी, मेरा कुछ नहीं सब है दौलत तुम्हारी। उसे क्या कमी जो तेरा हो लिया है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है। मेरा ही नहीं तू सभी का है दाता। तू ही सबको देता, तू ही है खिलाता। तेरा ही दिया मैंने खाया पिया है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है। तेरा शुक्रिया है, तेरा शुक्रिया है। मुझे तुमने दाता बहुत कुछ दिया है।
Om Shanti, Sister Jayanti. Om Shanti, everyone.
Om Shanti, Arunaben.
So Mama's fever continues. Oh yes, I want to say I'm actually in the drawing room of the Global Retreat Center, and as you can see, it's looking very beautiful. And as I said, yes, Mama fever continues, and I just have a very quick story. And the story is that different people would go to Mama, and I think Dadi Janki has experienced this as well as Ramesh Bhai. And they would go and they'd say to Mama, Mama, you know, Baba said this, Baba gave this advice, but what do you think? And Mama would look at them quite shocked, and you know, she would say to them, what do you mean, what do I think? Do you know who's telling you? Do you realize who's given you this advice? And that would, you know, quieten them up. So yeah, just Mama's sheer obedience, loyalty, faith in Baba was such an example. So thank you, Jayanti Ben. We'll let you start and then have some questions.
Om Shanti to everyone. And it's the year of tapasya, 1991. And 10 months have passed by in that tapasya. And Baba's now come to give them the result of that year of tapasya up through till October. And of course, as usual, first of all, Baba is boosting everyone's courage and enthusiasm and elevating the stage. And so Baba using this lovely, lovely title, Tapasvi Raj, the Tapasvi kings, the royal Tapasvis, Now, tapasya is yoga, intense yoga, and royalty and being a king is normally considered to be completely the opposite. And yet Baba's putting both of these words together for good reason. Why? Because Baba's saying that your tapasya is such that you have come to the one who's the bestower of fortune and you've made him belong to you. And so all types of fortune come to you. So yours is the highest attainment of the whole kalpa. Never again will you have such fortune that the bestower of fortune himself is yours. And a very powerful and beautiful definition of tapasya. Tapasya is very easy. Just simply have the thought, I belong to you and you belong to me. That's it. That is tapasya. And so Baba really creating that consciousness that tapasya is so natural, it's so easy, it's bringing you so much benefit, and you are the sovereigns right here and now. Your self-sovereignty today is the foundation of your sovereignty for the next half cycle. And so, yes, of course, that stage of being royal, that stage of being the ones who have really mastered everything and come to that stage of being the royal yogis, the royal tapasvis. And so I was saying that in bhakti, you used to say, I am your slave, I am your slave. But in fact, you are the children of the Almighty Authority. It doesn't suit you to say that you are slaves, but Baba has lifted you up from being slaves to becoming emperors, to becoming rulers. And so very lovely first passage making us aware of how powerful tapasya can be. And then further on, Baba asking the children, is tapasya easy? And how come you're not feeling that it is easy? Because what is tapasya? Tapasya means simply to sing and dance and be happy all the time. The song that you're singing is not connected with the quality of your singing voice, but the song that you're singing internally is simply the song of love and praise for God and for your own fortune. So you can sing the song continually without straining your throat. And it doesn't matter whether you're able to sing or not sing, but the song of the heart, everybody's able to sing. And how do you dance? Of course, you dance with happiness. You recognize who it is who has found you and how he now belongs to you. And so, of course, you're dancing eternally. Your mind is light and easy and you dance. And then Baba noticed that there were the people who are actually the trustees of the hospital. And September 91. September 1991, the Murli's October 1991. So September, Global Cooperation House had started. September, the museum, Global Museum in Nairobi had started. And now in October, there was the opening of the Global Hospital and Research Center. So that had started. And Baba noticed the group of trustees who were responsible for that. And Baba was saying, well, what is it in Brahman life that prevents you from singing and dancing? Is it that something makes you a little bit heavy? And if so, what makes you heavy? Just a tiny little mistake. Instead of recognizing that, yes, you do your best as accurately as you can, but the one who is responsible is the Almighty Authority. And so hand over the responsibility of the task to the one above. And when you do that, your head stays light and easy. And when you don't do that, your head gets heavy. And then you have a headache. Or sometimes then you say, Baba, I'm tired. But in that awareness of being Baba's instrument and letting Baba do whatever is needed, then there's no question of tiredness or anything in that. Then you can carry on eternally. And of course, we've seen how the dadis literally carried on eternally, tirelessly. Dadi Gulzar, even sometimes when she wasn't well, even then, Baba would still come and give us all a powerful, beautiful experience. And then Dadi would go back to her room and just rest. But absolute tireless service, all of these souls that Baba was addressing at that point. And so Baba's saying, just remember, Karan Karavanhar, the one who works directly and inspires others to do the work, he's the one who's in charge. So make sure you never have a heavy head, but stay light and easy, and Baba's task is going to happen very, very beautifully. And then Baba went on to talk about the treasures and the mantra of less expense and greater glory. And so that is the mantra that Sakar Baba used to give us, that Avyakt Baba has often reminded us of. But now, of course, it was in the context of the treasure of our time, the treasure of our thoughts, the treasure of Baba's knowledge, the treasure of peace, the treasure of love, all the different things that human beings need desperately at this moment of time. And so within that, Baba gave an example that somebody out there, if they're asked to make a decision, well, they'll take a few minutes and reflect on that, up and down and in and out. And Baba's children shouldn't take 3-4 minutes to reflect on something and then come to a decision. Baba's children should take seconds. The intellect so clearly linked with Baba that very quickly the intellect is able to understand what it is that needs to happen and be able to do that. And so just as Baba is the one who brought about so much change so quickly, and we always say, Baba, aapki kamal hai. And so you sing that song, Baba, it's your wonder. But Baba's saying, it's not only my wonder. Yes, there was quick transformation, but also it's your wonder. And so sing songs of praise for what it is you are doing and the service you are doing with which to applaud Baba and Baba's task and show the world who is the one in charge. And so very powerful, beautiful passage about using our thoughts, our words, our contacts, all the connections we have in the best way possible. And so can I do that? Everybody who's in touch with me, can I find a way to bring them into contact with Baba so that then they too can benefit? And it feels like it's that last period in which we can do as much service as we want. But tapasya again, and Baba saying, well, the result of the tapasya 10 months, firstly, that you're using too much for yourself and you don't have enough left over for serving the world. Baba is not shy of telling us clearly exactly what it is. And so, am I using my thoughts just for myself, or am I using my thoughts for serving the world? My own inner energy, my thoughts, my time. What is it that I'm doing? Let me be able to reduce what I need for myself so that I have the time, the energy, the thoughts possible to be able to manage and with very little for myself, and the rest, let it be for world service. And so the more I take for myself, the less capacity I have for giving to others. And so Baba pointing out that stay in the unlimited.
Sister Jayanti's been muted. Okay.
Okay, now you can hear?
Yes. yes.
Okay. So Baba had very interesting comment about two different attitudes that are coming to Baba. Yes, you have to increase the speed of your service of giving vibrations because the whole world is in need of these vibrations now. But the two contrasting things, so many big projects happening. I mentioned just three, but also there was the project for global cooperation going on, other on maybe a local level, if not an international level. So Baba's saying that, is this the fruit of your tapasya? And then others are saying, but why so much attention on all these extrovert things? Surely we should be doing tapasya. And Baba answering them, this is the fruit of your tapasya. And so, yes, enjoy it. Take the fruit. You can't throw away the fruit. It's not possible. The fruit is going to come to you. And of course, Baba's saying, drama is showing you that the power of tapasya will fulfill all your needs at the right time. I loved that mantra that Baba gave us. Drama is showing you that tapasya is always going to fulfill your thoughts. So anyone who's listening and is wondering, I've been putting in so much time, effort, energy in all of this, and how come it's not happening? Or I thought I should be doing tapasya, and yet all the services coming in front of me in terms of big, big projects. I was saying, relax. It's okay. If all this is coming to you in a natural way, or even if you've gone out creating it and now the results are coming, enjoy it. You've made the effort. Now is a time to experience the fruit of that effort. Your labor has brought you these results. But now use this opportunity to really glorify Baba. And so Baba endorsing the whole subject of big projects and service that has happened through tapasya. And so Baba really wanting the children to focus their attention and their energy in being able to share vibrations with the world, which is what the world needs right now. It did at that time, but even today, this is what it needs. Not just in the villages in India, not even just in the far corners of the Himalayas, but right here and now, whichever city it is you belong to. My hope is that you're going to want to support Baba's work in all of these projects that are happening across the world through your thoughts, your words, your actions. I was saying that any one of these services is good, but consider your input. How many words do I need to use to help another person understand? It doesn't take many words. And so learn how to make sure that you are able to do maximum with the minimum amount of input. So Baba really, really telling us what the next step for tapasya has to be. Tapasya brings you happiness. Tapasya brings you results. Tapasya brings you all the attainments. And of course, then Baba also saying that it is through this tapasya that you become the rulers. And so just check and see, do I have that capacity to be able to rule myself here and now? And then another very lovely point, which Baba said he'll expand on another time. But Baba asked the question, what is the wealth that you children have, which has come as a result of your tapasya, that the rest of the world doesn't have? And doesn't matter whether they are wealthy or poor, nobody has this treasure. And Baba spoke about that treasure of sympathy. In Hindi, the word for wealth, treasure, is sympathy. And English, sympathy. So sympathy has a very different meaning to sympathy, but I was putting the words together. So the wealth, the treasure of sympathy. And just thinking about sympathy, when I'm soul conscious, I see all as part of my family. That's the first step towards empathy, sympathy. Second step, can I fill myself with God's love and take in all of those treasures within me, so that then through my practical experience, I'm able to share that treasure of sympathy with others also. And so first step, soul consciousness. Second step, just being able to connect with Baba, receive all treasures from Baba, and to fill myself with that love that can be translated in action, but also to learn to be a detached observer, being able to observe what it is they need, and for myself, to be able to observe myself, and having taken from Baba, then to be able to share with all. So Baba reminding us of this very lovely point of sympathy, that this is a treasure that you need to cultivate. And when you do this, yes, then this is the treasure that you share with others, so that they too come to know Baba and are able to connect with Baba. So a very lovely Murli and very powerful point that Baba made. Ask yourself who you are. Are you one of the category that's loving and cooperative? Or are you the category that is cooperative and through that cooperation is able to be a yogi? Or are you in the category of someone who's always experimenting with yoga and thereby seeing the results of yoga also? And of course, from that first step of loving and cooperative, next step, loving, cooperative, but now a yogi. Say yogi, now yogi. Cooperation leads to then yoga, and for the individual. And then the third step, the one who's always engaged in constant yoga, but is experimenting continually, so that the qualities that they have can continue to grow and grow and grow. And yesterday I was very, very fortunate in that another lesson was a big lesson learned. When you think about the meetings that people have, and very often it's meet and eat together, and the things that Baba has taught us, how to be able to have a clean diet, how that's useful for mind and body. And so to actually understand why Baba is wanting me to use all the subtle energies possible, so that then together we move forward and we're able to bring a conclusion to Baba's work, to the task of self-empowerment and the completion of the task. So let me stop here.
Right, thank you, gentlemen. Maybe if we can just go back to that line where Baba's saying, I am yours, and then he says, you are mine. But I was thinking it's more than just lip service, because even when you get married to someone and you say, till death do us part, there's a sense of loyalty, dedication, surrender. So there's a lot of all that included in I'm yours and you are mine. So would you like to add, it's not a question, it's more a comment, but would you like to add to that and elaborate maybe?
When I say I am yours, what do I actually mean? That I have recognized Baba, mind, body, wealth, or no, nothing, but all that I have is for you. Am I saying that I'm going to keep my mind man manabhav? I'm going to keep my intellect connected in yoga with you alone? Am I going to make sure that my sanskars are so clean that Baba's able to use them and work through them to the next level that I need to go to? So yes, it's very simple 4 words. I am yours, you are mine. In English, it's more words. In Hindi, it's main aapki, aap mera. So very simple few words. But that's the beauty of God, the Supreme Teacher, that God takes a subject like tapasya, which is very incredibly complicated, and especially in bhakti, it doesn't get us very far, but people give it high regard. And taking that subject in such a simple way, tapasvi, that's it. The whole of the Gita encompassed in one word, tapasvi. Tapasvi yogi, tapasvi raj, whatever. So a lot of words, a lot of power in those words. I am yours and you are mine. I'm truly saying, I'm going to forget the world for you.
Yes, very nice. And actually, I was thinking the same thing. Gentlemen, on the one hand, tapasya has always been seen as something so serious and something where you focus, concentrate. It's like becoming studious again. And here Baba saying, no, just laugh and dance and play. And it's like a complete shift in the mindset. So anyway, from your experience, any thoughts on how to actually flip, how to convert? Because we still all have the notion that to have tapasya means, get serious with it,
It was a time that was very intense for a good number of us. You might remember we were in Madhuban for many months and we were trying to put together the results of the first survey that we'd done through Global Cooperation. And it was long days and short nights and a lot of pressure and a lot of work. And I remember hearing this Murli and thinking, Baba, it's been hard work. And you're saying that all we have to do is sing and dance. And yet, of course, as I continued to hear the Murli, I could feel the burden being lifted. And yes, Baba's going to take charge and Baba's going to do whatever is needed. And sure enough, that program was so successful, reaching 120 plus countries, meetings with kings and queens and presidents and prime ministers and shoeshine boys in Brazil, leper colonies in the Philippines. It was across the board, absolutely, vertical as well as horizontal. And I'm remembering how it changed my mindset to hear Baba talk to us with such love and teaching us to flip it around. And that example of the game, everything is a game. And yes, when you're on the football field, the ball comes to you. You want the ball to come to you, but sometimes the ball hits your shin and it's painful. And you say, oh my goodness, what's happened? And then the ball goes on its way to others. But at that moment, when I'm on the games field and I've been hit by the ball, I have a choice. Am I going to say, this is too much, I can't tolerate the pain, and I leave the pitch and I come and sit by the side and I get taken home and I lose out? And the other, well, the balls hit me, but that's okay. It was a mistake. It's not a problem. Now, let me have such attention and focus that I can actually kick the ball and not wait for it to come and hit me, but to be able to use that ball and enjoy that game and be part of that game. So a message to everyone through all of this. Some things happen on the field of service. Somebody says something, results are not what you'd like them to be, but it's okay. It's just a game. And so when I switch my consciousness around, then of course there's freedom. I don't have to think about what about this one, what about that one, what about the other one. Let me focus on playing my part in the game. And I know that God's love is going to reach everyone around me. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Chandivan. And it makes me think of this statement that we use, but need to apply more of, which is happy no matter what. Happiness, don't let go of your happiness no matter what. So actually I had this question and it's come up in the chat, so maybe we'll ask it, which is the question about yog prayog, which is experimentation with yoga. So do you have any tips or tools? Have you done any experimentations in yoga that you'd like to share with us?
One particular experimentation has been, is it possible to keep myself safe under the canopy of protection of God so that I don't let what others are saying upset me in any way? And yes, I think that's been a very good experiment to work with, and it's protected me hugely. And yes, today I can hear many things, but I can just keep smiling and carry on. And then even for the person who has said things that are not very nice, just send them Baba's light and Baba's love and good wishes. So that's one particular yoga experiment that I've had to do many, many times. And another thing that I've had to do several times is, here's something that's happened that was done with full enthusiasm and a lot of love, and yet the results are not what you would expect. They're not so brilliant. And I have to remind myself, drama is sweet, drama is perfect. And at that moment say, whatever has happened, it's right, it's good. And many lessons learned from whatever it is that's happened. Now we move on. So I'm seeing that yoga experimentation isn't just necessarily sitting in a cave and just being silent. Yes, that side of tapasya is important. And of course, that's the time in which my sanskars can change. And also it's a time in which I can send out good vibrations to the world, which Baba's saying that are very much needed. And if you hear the news, even for 3 minutes, it hits you so strongly that we are living in very, very strange times in which unexpected things are happening in the world. And so the world needs our good vibrations. But I'm also seeing that last week, Baba spoke about tapasya, again today yesterday about tapasya. And Baba's interpretation of tapasya is not just your sitting down yoga, but how are you applying your connection with Baba at all times, under all circumstances and situations. And so it makes me feel very heartened that Baba is teaching us to see, well, what are the results of tapasya? And am I experiencing the results of tapasya and the fruits of tapasya? Not just, at one point Baba had said a little while ago, so you've done 4 hours of yoga, very good. You have a plan of doing 8 hours of yoga, even better, very good. But are you seeing that others are content with you? Are you seeing that you are content with others? So again, even this time, I was saying that sympathy. I've experimented with yoga to see if I can expand my heart and be able to have love for not just 1 or 2 or 10 or 12, but really for everyone. That's again been part of my yoga experimentation. And this time, Baba was saying that when there's tapasya and you've expanded your heart, you've been able to have sympathy, then the result of that is that others are content. And so I'm seeing that it's a very practical way to approach tapasya and to be able to see how my tapasya is going.
Yes, like Mama Baba, I guess. The fruit of their tapasya meant everybody loved them. I think we should let everybody know, because a few people did ask me. So Baba's actually using the word sympathy in English. That's why it's in italics in the Murli. So it's not a translation, it is sympathy. So, so this was a question also, gentlemen, how to have sympathy and remain detached. I guess it's the same as loving and detached, but in case there's another angle. Because with sympathy, you can kind of, again, get caught up in trying to get into their life and, understand it. And then part B to that question, right? So the first question, translators, is sympathy and detached. And second part is good wishes. What is the difference between sympathy and good wishes?
Okay. I'll answer that part first, your second bit first. Good wishes is really just making sure that I can forgive whoever, whatever, and just have nothing but love. And that means I can have pure thoughts, good wishes, pure feelings for them. So it's just an internal thing. But sympathy is not just internal. Sympathy is then expressed in some type of action. Maybe I give time to them. Maybe I help them with whatever their need may be. And so it's putting across that love and good feelings in an actual form of action that others can tangibly feel and take benefit from. And I actually spoke about the way to be able to increase my level of sympathy earlier. And it was first step, soul consciousness. Second step, connect with Baba and expand your heart. Third step, be the observer and see what is it that the other individual needs. And so being the observer is being detached, but also I'm observing myself to see what can I do to help this individual. And so it's then taking action, but as an observer. I've been an observer internally of where they're at. I've been an observer of myself to see where I am at, and then I take a step forward.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I was a bit distracted in the beginning. So we have a few questions from today's Murli, yesterday's, a day before. I think you took it up this morning. Sister Jayanti was at the retreat center this morning. But maybe for the sake of everyone, gentlemen, if you could explain satopradhan corruption. That question did come to me as well from two people, plus we had a discussion yesterday.
Yeah. So corruption, we usually translate the word brastachar as corruption, which is a correct translation. But when Baba's talking about brastachar, corruption, Baba's talking about two things. A, it's fraud, but B, it's also lust. And so you can see why corruption, lust are connected so deeply. It's a corruption of the soul away from its state of inner purity. And so satopradhan corruption, where I like somebody, I want to spend time in their company, and I'm not discerning sufficiently that it could be my dependency on them, and it could be an attachment. I'm justifying it and feeling that, yes, it's helpful, it's useful, and it's serviceable. I'm not acknowledging that there's another side to it. And so satopradhan, corruption in that way.
Right, thank you. And this question, actually it's come, I'll read it to you. It is not possible for your sins to be absolved in the jail of a womb in each birth. Some are absolved, but some still remain. The sin cannot be absolved by putting people in jail. How can the sin be absolved?
Three ways to absolve sin. One is yoga power, and that's the most beautiful and the sweetest way, but it needs that much attention on yoga. And the second way is suffering. Suffering settles sins, but not always, in the sense that sometimes I'm suffering and then I'm blaming and complaining, whether it's through illness or whether it's emotional hardship and pain that I'm feeling, or like Baba has said, suffering in the womb. But at that moment, of course, the suffering is settling a certain amount of sin. But in some cases, it might not be a settlement. It's also incurring more karma because I'm complaining and not just accepting it and letting it finish. But suffering settles karma. And the third, of course, is in front of Dharamraj. And that's the most painful. But let me focus on yoga so that my sins can be settled and the soul can once again have all the alloy removed and the soul comes to its satopradhan stage once again.
So where is the element of realization?
And if during that period of suffering, there is a realization that this is the comeback of whatever it is I've done, and I tolerate it. I don't blame, I don't complain. I say, let me finish it. Like Mama, she didn't complain, why have I got cancer? Why do I have pain? Mama said, it's come to settle my account so I don't have to see Dharamraj. She was very clear about that. And so that settlement, when I tolerate just simply with acceptance, but you also use this word realization. And I think that true realization and repentance for what I've done actually allows me to transform. And so the suffering is another element, but that stage where I have enough gyan, I realize, and I take it to heart. I make a commitment to change. And so at that moment, the transformation happens with God's power because I'm ready for it. And I've realized I've been able to drop my ego and stop pointing the finger outwards to anyone else, but it's me. Mama's Murli the other day, that it's not God, it's not destiny, it's not somebody else who's to blame, it's me and my karma. And so that realization to that extent, where I have this total commitment, I'm not going to repeat this mistake ever again, that settles sins.
So, sorry, gentlemen, you're saying with Gyan, I realize and I'm not committing any more sin. But what about at the time of suffering? Even if I realize, then the suffering is reduced, right?
To a certain extent, in the sense that my capacity to tolerate it will grow. But essentially, no complaints, acceptance that this is a result of whatever it is I have done.
To settle it royally.
Mm.
Okay. So we'll move to the chat. And since you were talking about Mama's Murli, somebody's saying that Mama said that this nature is Baba's creation. So is this planet, the stars, the universe created by Baba?
In terms of pure Gyan, Baba says it's eternal. But then sometimes Baba says drama is my creation. Sometimes Baba says nature is my creation, in the sense that God is the creator, and that transformation that happens, the creation of heaven. Like today, Baba saying, I create heaven. I don't create hell. It's Ravan who creates hell. And so it's a beautiful poetic expression in which I can understand that the Lord and Master is God. And yes, nature is part of creation, but not that God sat and made the sky and the earth and not in that sense, but it's poetry.
And somebody's asking, any idea where Mama is, what she's doing now after 57 years?
No idea. And when Sakar Baba was around, they would ask Sakar Baba. Baba would say, if Baba wanted you to know, he would have given you an address and telephone number. But Baba does not want any interference in the soul playing its role as part of the bridge to the golden age. Advanced party work going on.
Okay, and well, I know this may not be familiar, but it may be a familiar question in quite a few centers. So somebody's asking, we practice open eye meditation, right, Sister Jayanti? Mm-hmm. But many times when this person gives drishti from the stage, they are sitting with closed eyes, perhaps maybe sleeping or whatever. So anyway, would you like to say something about the importance of open eye meditation?
Well, first, I also have to point out that when I'm asked to do a meditation commentary, I find it very difficult to remember Baba, do the commentary, and also keep my eyes open. It doesn't work for me. I'm happy to do the commentary, but then my eyes tend to close, really just for me to go deep inside myself. So that's one thing I want to say. But the second thing is, yes, definitely, open eyes meditation is the way in which, especially if I'm conducting yoga, I'm receiving that light and might, and my eyes are able to share that transmission of God's light and might to others. And of course, it's also the way in which we really start focusing on the center of the forehead of each one, whether the person conducting or whether it's looking at others in the room. It's seeing each soul in its original pure state. And that practice then helps enormously later on to be able to walk and talk and engage with others, but just keep seeing the soul. And it's a very beautiful practice that transforms our vision so that we are really not distracted by people's faces, by their cosmetics, by their jewelry, by their clothes or anything like that. Just see that shining star. And open-eyed meditation is the foundation to be able to do this at all times through the day in relationship with others.
It's nice, thank you. So somebody's saying if we are not supposed to look at corporeal, subtle, incorporeal images, then to even look at a point, if we connect with images and not the point, then where do we go?
Baba's training us to be able to come to the inner consciousness of I, the soul, feeling I am a soul, instead of just a visualization of a dot. I'm a dot. No. What does it feel like to be the soul, the living being of light? How do I experience myself? So to come to that feeling and that experience, and then not just an image of Shiv Baba, but Baba is my parent, my mother, my father. Can I feel that love coming from my parent towards me? When I connect with Baba, can I connect with my supreme teacher, the Satguru, my friend, my beloved? And so Baba wants me to get into a living relationship. Here's a photograph of my father, and I keep looking at that photograph. And what's the feeling I get? Well, maybe there are some past memories that will come, but I won't get the feeling I'm meeting my father. And so if I'm just looking at an image, a point of light, or even a picture of Brahma Baba, what's the feeling I get? It's quite sterile. It's just a picture, an image. But when I'm soul conscious, and I don't need to look at the picture, but I just need to look straight ahead at least. But if I can see Shiv Baba with my third eye, not in a vision, not in trance, but just through my awareness, in soul consciousness, I can see Baba's presence, feel Baba's presence. And that's what Baba wants us to practice.
Yes, lovely. And somebody's asking how to stop vicious dreams. How to stop having vicious dreams.
Yeah, dreams are a reflection, of my sanskaras, my subconscious, no, my unconscious state. And dreams are also a reflection of my behavior and activity through the day. And so on all levels, through the day, can I practice soul consciousness? Can I practice staying connected with Baba again and again? Traffic control time, times when I have to stop to drink some water. I'm changing my attitude, my awareness, my consciousness through the day as I keep practicing these ideas. And then before going to sleep at night, again, let me spend some time with Baba. And before going to sleep, let me read a little of the Murli. And probably that will help a good deal. And also have that aim of 4 o'clock meditation, so that 4 o'clock you can tell Baba, Baba, I need help, and tell Baba what the situation is, and Baba will help.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Does Paramdham need to be emptied of souls?
This is what Baba said today. When everyone is down here, then very quickly everyone goes up.
How do you know that it's empty?
When the signal is to go home, when Rama says it's time to go home, then we know Paramdham is empty. At the moment, Rama isn't giving us that signal yet. But when it does, we all know Paramdham is empty. Now we have to go and populate it again.
Okay, and last question. When I give drishti, where do I focus? In the eyes of the person or in the center of the forehead?
Between you and me, if I'm giving drishti, I bring Shiv Baba in between and I focus on the center of their forehead and let Baba give that light and might. Rather than me give it, I put Baba in between us. So it's Baba giving them that.
Right, Sister Jayanti, thank you. And a few people have asked if you're okay because of your lips. So I think we just let everybody know it's just some allergic reaction to some medicine.
Yeah.
And you can see Sister Jayanti is absolutely fine.
Well, thank you for everyone's loving concern. But yes, I am very fine. And I know that for the last 2 months, you all tolerated it. You've needed to have tolerance, not me. It didn't hurt me. It wasn't painful, but it was painful for all of you to see it. But all of you have just given a lot of love and support. And 90% it's gone now.
Yeah, it's just love and concern. So thank you, everyone. We'll let you know what's happening next week. Sister Jayanti is flying again. So we'll let you know. Stay in the loop. And thank you, Sister Jayanti, and have a good time.
Thank you for your loving good wishes. And yes, I carry your love to Madhuban. And thank you, Arunaben, and all of you. Om Shanti.
We'll just have some meditation.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. शांति स्वरूप हूँ I am peaceful soul Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti मैं आत्मा सुख स्वरूप हूँ I am happy soul Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti मैं आत्मा प्रेम स्वरूप हूँ I am loveful soul Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti मैं आत्मा स्वरूप हूँ I am peaceful soul Om Shanti Om Shanti